All right, guys. This is the class review. Give me a second. Let me get myself together. All right. So we evaluate a function. So remember, I said in class today that we can write y equals 3x as f of x is equal to 3x plus 5. Right. And so it's the same function, the same equation. One is in function notation, right? And I'll show you exactly how we use that later on in the lesson. All right. Okay, let's look at this real quick. You guys can read the problem, but here it says let's go and graph the order pairs. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that real quick. Before we do that, let's see. She earns $10 per hour, right? So per hour, that is your key phrase. So you know that is your rate. And so my M is going to be 10 right there. And then she starts off at a base of 30. That's going to be her initial value. So my B is going to be 30. Okay. So if I want to write the equation, I can write it the equation of this linear um, function as y is equal to mx plus b, where y is equal to 10x plus 30. Okay, just remember how to do that. Let me erase this for a second. Okay, so let's go ahead and plot these points real quick. We have 140. We have 140. That's 40 right there. And make sure you look at the y-axis and notice that each line is going by 2. This is 20, 20, 40. So that's 5, 10. So each one's going by 5. Okay. I think in class I said 2. All right. So each one's going by 5. So make sure you check on that one. And then 50, 2 and 50. 2 and 50 is going to be right around here. 3 and 60 is going to be here. 4 and 70 is going to be here, and 5 and 80, that's here, and 6 and 90 is going to be right here. Okay, and so if I connect the dots with a straight line, it's going to look like, okay, right there. Okay, so that's good. Plot the points. B on the next page, it says is there any way to find the y-intercept of the function? Yes. Is there any way to find the y-intercept of the function? Well, I can do two ways. Well, there are three ways, right? The first way, I can look at the table, and if you notice, right, for each hour, the amount of money is increasing by 10. So 2 is 50, 3 is 60, 4 is 70. It's going by 10. So if I go backwards to 0, right, if I put a 0 here, right, then I'm just going to decrease by 10. So at times 0, which is the initial value, is going to be 30. Okay. And also what I could do is I could extend the line. I could extend the line all the way to where it crosses the y-axis. All right. And that's another way of doing it. This one, I think, is the least preferred because if your ruler is not aligned properly, you're going to be off. Okay. And the third one is function notation, which I'm going to show you in a second. All right, so we have the table and the graph. So I think I answered the other two questions. Yes, we can extend the line. I hope I have enough time to finish this review. We can extend the line, and also we can go back, go to 0. Okay, let's say go to 0, go to come on, go to 0 on the table, on the table. All right. Okay, can we write the equation? Yes. I did before, right? The equation is y is equal to 10x plus 30. I just did that earlier. Okay, what happens if Carla works 12 hours a day? Now, this is where function notation comes into play. So real quick, let's go back and look at this. Okay. Now let's see. When Carla works for 2 hours, how much money does she make? Well, let's see. In 2 hours, right? She's gonna make. I go up 2 hours. She's gonna make $50, right? And for the graph, it tells you that. Right? But I can also solve this algebraically using function notation. So we know the equation is y is equal to 10x plus 30. Right? I'm gonna write this in function notation, which is f of x, right, is equal to 10x plus 30. Right? And all this is saying is now I want to find the value when x is 2, right? So when x is 2, I want to know what is the value. And let's see this. So wherever I see x, I'm going to replace it with 2, right? So I'm going to get 10. Oops, sorry. I'm going to get 10. I'm going to replace the x with 2 plus 30. And that is equal to what now? 10 times 2 is 20 plus 30 equals 50, which is the same value here, right? 50 and 50 on the graph. So function notation allows me, right, to calculate way in the future. Like for instance, the graph stops at 6. At 8 right here. What if I want to find 15, 16, 18 hours? How can I do that? Am I going to extend the graph all the way to 18? Or can I use function notation, right? 18, f of 18, right? It's just going to be, replace the x with 18. So I'm going to get 10 times 18 plus 30. That is 180 plus 30, which is equal to 210. So I should make 210 in 18 hours. So that's function notation right here, guys. Okay, and I'm running out of time. My class is about to start again. So f of 12, right? For a, I would write f of 12 is just going to be, replace the x with 10 with 12. So 10 times 12 plus 30. And that's 10 times 12 is 120 plus 30 is 150. What about f of 24? F of 24, again, I'm going to replace the x in the equation, right, with 24. So that's 10 times 24, times 24 plus 30. That is equal to 240 plus 30, and that is equal to 270. All right? Okay, let's move on to the next one. Number 2. I did not do number 2 in class, so let's look at number 2. Tyler goes to college. His parents give allowance of $20 at the college, and Tyler has a starting balance in his account of 10. All right, so by looking at the word problem, right, Tyler has a starting balance in his account of $10. So that means my B is going to be 10. That's my initial value, and it's right here too. When when X value is 0, then my money is 10. Okay, and then his rate, right, is $20 per week. So M is going to be 20. So my equation, right, of this linear function is going to be y is equal to 20x plus 10. And let's go ahead and graph these order pairs real quick. 0. Oh my. Okay. When x is 0, it's going to be 10. 5, 10 right here. When x is 0 is 5 is 10. And then we're going to have 1 and 30. 1 and 30 is right there. 2 and 50 is going to be here. 3 and 70 is going to be here. And 4, 90. 90 is going to be right there. And I want 5 and that's 110. 5 and 110 is going to be right there. Okay. And so if I connect these points together, I get a straight line all the way down. Okay. Okay, and then it asks you, is there any way we can find the y-intercept of this function? Yes. We can look at the graph. Okay, we can look at the graph and see that the y-intercept is right here at 10. And also, if we look at the function, it tells you, right, uh, that at time 0, it is 10. Another way you can do it is by function notation, right? And so if we look at it, if we write f of x is equal to 20x plus 10, right? Remember, the y-intercept occurs when x is 0, right? When x is 0, that's when the y-intercept occurs. So if I replace this with f of 0, I'm going to replace, wherever I see x now, I'm going to replace it with 0. So 20 times 0 plus 10, right? And that gives me 10. Again, function notation gives me the same answer graphically. All right. Can we write yes? Can we write equation? Yes, we just did that. Let me go to the next slide. Yes, I just did this a while ago. Can we write equation? Yes, we can write y is equal to, I think I did before. The slope is it was 20. Y equals 20x plus 10. All right. What happens? What happens if Tyler parents do this for 15 weeks? Well, again, that's a short way of saying f of 15. What is how much money is going to get after 15 weeks? So it's going to do f of 15. All right. And so I'm going to replace wherever I see x, I'm going to replace it with 15 plus 10. And 20 times 15 is quick math. That's what 20 times 15, let's see, that's 5 to 10, 300 plus 10, right? Am I correct? Yeah, 310. Wow, I'm kind of sluggish today. 310, all right? I think that's correct. Uh, okay, and then the next one is f of 10. F of 10, again, the same thing. I'm going to replace the x with 10, so that's 20. Oh, wow, I've got to go. All right, so not gonna finish this right here. So, guys, I'm gonna pause the video and come back. Right? I'm gonna restart this video again. My next video is going to start. So let me go back and do this one. I can't pause it. Okay, guys, I'm back. So let's try to finish it again. All right. So another class starting. So f of 10 now is again we're going to replace right the x with 10. Replace x in the equation with 10. So again, this is the equation we're using, all right? So 20, replace the x now with 10 plus 10. And so that's going to give me 20 times 10 is 200 plus 10, and that is equal to 210, all right? So and that was number 2, and that was D. I think we did everything, okay? All right, look at number 3 now. Let's see if we can do number 3 before the next class starts. All right, here you have the water level of a river is 34 feet. All right, so that's going to be my initial value. That's my initial value of my B, my y-intercept. All right, and is receding at a rate of 0.5 foot per day. So we know our B is going to be 34. Now, my slope now, we have to be careful. Our slope it's not going to be zero point 0.5, right? It is going to be negative zero point 0.5 because the water level is receding. Therefore, the rate is going to be negative, or the slope is going to be negative, okay? And so I can write the function as now. Again, this is a linear situation or a linear line. Straight line is linear. And so the equation is going to be f of x. Again, I can use y. It's still the same. Is equal to negative 0.5x, right, plus 34. So that's my equation right there. So here it asks you to fill in the table. Let's fill the graph right now. So when x is 0, and remember now, time is always on the x-axis. I'm not sure if I remember that. I mentioned that earlier. Time is always on the x-axis, and so on the y-axis is going to be the water level. Water level, okay? Just FYI. And so when time is 0, right? When a day is 0, right? We have a day 0, right? The water level is 34. So that's 34 right there. And then at day 1, this is day 1. If we go up, right, it's between these two lines. So this is 20, 22, 24, 26, 28. So if that's 28, then that line is going to be 29. So this is going to be 29 right here. And you can pause the video and go ahead and fill this out. And so we're going to have 24, 19, 14, and 9 for a table, okay? And on the next slide, it's going to ask you, let me scoot back over. It's going to ask you what's the equation we just did that. The equation is f of x or y equals, right? Negative 0.5x plus 34. And here receding means decreasing. Means decreasing. And what does that do to the slope? It makes the slope negative. It makes the slope negative, okay? And so here now, we want to evaluate the function when at day 7. So let's go back and look at the graph for a second. If you notice now, the graph doesn't go out to day 7, right? It does not. It stops at day 4, right? So how do we, I could draw the graph all the way up to day 7 and see where the line goes. Or I could say, well, this is day 5, do day 6, do day 7. I find what the water level is. Or I could use the function, right? Find the value of the function at day 7. So that's going to give me f of 7 now. Now I'm going to replace, wherever I see x, right, I'm going to replace it with 7. So that's going to give me negative 0.5, all right? I'm going to replace the x with 7 plus 34. And that's going to give me negative 3.5 plus 34. And if you do the math, that's going to give you 30.5. So that's the water level. All right. All right. So that was number 3. Number 4. Can I see please number 4 before the bell goes off again? Let's see. Sarah worked at a movie theater. When she first got to the movie theater, she got a tip. She got a tip of $45 for making the best popcorn. Her hourly pay is $6 per hour. So you know that's gonna be raised. So that's gonna be my M right there. And our tip of 45, that's gonna be my B. That's gonna be my initial value, right? So the equation now of this linear situation is going to be f of x, again, is equal to my slope is 6x and my b is 45. So that's the equation right there. All right. So let's fill out now. Okay, so we want to find, it gives you the table and wants you to fill in those values. Well, let's see now. So we know when she starts off at 0, right, it is 45. But can we prove that using a function? Well, let's look at this. F of 0, right, it's going to equal to, I'm going to replace the x with 0, so that's going to give me 6 times plus put a 0 right there, and then plus 45. And that gives me what? 6 times 0 is 0 plus 45. See, I get the 45 here. So that's my y value. Again, this is my x value, and that's my y. So f of 7, f of 0 is giving my y value. Now let's try f of 1. I want to find the value, the y value, when time is 1. Now, how do I do that? Let's do this real quick. So I'm going to replace x with 1 now. It's going to be 6 times the 1. Let's put some red. And I have folks, kids outside my classroom right now. So 6 times 1, right? Plus the 45. That's going to give me 6 times 1 is 6 plus 45. That's going to be 51. All right, so that's 51. So this is 51. So go ahead and do that. Go ahead and find f of 2, 3, 4, and 5, and go ahead and fill in the table. And then when we come back, we're going to graph. Okay. I'm going to pause again. My class is about to start, and we can pick up again. All right. Here we go. Pause. All right, guys, I'm back. Finished my other period. So here we go. We were trying to fill out a table, right? And we're using function notation to use that. So recap, let me go back and recap. We have our equation f of x equals 6x plus 45. And they want us to graph the ordered pairs, but we got to get a table first to get the ordered pairs, all right? And so when x is 0, that's time, right? We're going to find f of 0, which is the y value. And so we have that's going to equal to 6 times 0 plus 45, which is equal to 45. Now let's try to find the y value when x is 1, when time is 1. So that's f of 1 is going to equal to 6 times 1 plus 45, and that's 51 right there. So let's move along now. We're going to find the y value, which is f of 2, right? We're going to find f of 2 now. That's the y value when x is 2, and that's going to give me 6 times. Remember now, we're going to replace the x with 2 times 2 plus 45, and say that's 6 times 2 is 12, and 45, that's going to give me 57. Am I right? 12, 7, 57. That's going to give me 57. And then f of 3 now, all right? So this is 57 right here. And f of 3 now is going to be 6 times, put a 3 right there, plus 40, oops, plus 45. And so 6 times 3 is 18. 18 and 45, all right? That's going to give me 63. All right, put that 63 right there. Put this in red, so stand a little bit. I'm sorry, this is 57. And then this is 63, and then f of 4, all right, is going to equal to, again, 6, replace the x with 4, plus 45. And if you notice now, everything is going up by 6, all right? And so this gives me 69. So do I have to keep on going? Well, I know f of 4 is 69. So everything's going up by 6. So therefore, if I add 6 here, that's going to give me 75. And you can do f of 5. You can get the same answer, 75. All right. So that's how you find the y values now. And so now we can go ahead and plot those points. All right. So I may have to erase this. I need some space. Let's see. Well, let's see now. So we know at the origin, the y-intercept, right? When time is 0, we're gonna have 45. So 10, 20, 30, 40. So 45, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. So 2, 4. So 45 is right in the middle, right there. Okay, and then okay, when t is 1, right? We're gonna have 1 and 51. So 1, I don't want to be bouncing back and forth, but 1 and 51 is gonna be, so this is 1 right here. Go up, that's 50. So 51 is going to be somewhere in between right there. Erase this. And then 3, when time is 3, right? We're going to have 57. What that means 2? I'm sorry, when time is 2, we're going to have 57. 57 is going to be, so that's 50, 52, 54, 56. So 57 is right there in the middle, all right? Right in the middle. And that's 3 now. Now, 3 now is going to be 63. So that's 60 right here. That's 63 is going to be right in the middle. Well, not quite right here, right in the middle. That's 63 right here. And then 4 is going to be 69. 4 and 69, that's a 70, so that's right here in the middle. And the last one, 5. We know 5 is going to be 75, right? 5 and 5, 75 is going to be, that's 70 right here. 2, 4, so 75. 75 is right here in the middle, right here, okay? And so if I connect these points with a line, I get my linear line all the way down. So that's how we graph that. All right. What's the next question on this? To graph it, let me see what's next. What happened if Sarah did not get a tip at the beginning of her shift? Well, let's see. If she didn't get a tip, right? Therefore, or and this is a good question right here. If she did not get a tip, right, then our starting point would be at 0. Okay. The only reason why she started here is because she got a tip. But if she didn't get it, let me draw another line and kind of illustrate this real quick. Um, Let me use this right here. If she didn't start at 40, is it 45? Yeah. Then she'll be starting at 0, so it should be coming from this direction going up. All right. So our origin would be, our initial value would be 0. The y would be 0 right here. So just want to make sure you understand that. So you see the difference on how the line looks, right? Should be starting from 0 instead of 45. All right. And then, so let's go back and answer this question then. Then our initial value, then the graph, let me try to rephrase this. The graph would start at 0, comma 0, or the origin. Okay. Now let's evaluate f of 8 now. So the graph again, it is the equation, the function is f of x is equal to, I can't remember now, is 6x plus 45. 6x plus 45, and we want to find f of 8. So therefore, f of 8 now, I'm going to replace the x with 8. That's going to be 6 times 8, and that's plus 45. Now remember, in class, someone asked this question. This is a multiplication. It's 6 times 8. That's, you don't add those. So 6 times 8 is 54 plus the 45. All right, and that's going to give you 9, 9, 9, 99. No, 86 is, I'm sorry, 86 is 48. Woo. I'm sorry, 86 is 48. I'm sorry. Ooh, man, that's been a long day. 13 and carry 1, 893. 8 and 5 is 13. 93. Ooh. All right, man. All right, so I think that was the last one, is it? So, and then let's see what's that's it. All right, that was the last one, guys. Okay. One thing I want to go back and make a correction. One of your classmate mentioned this that on the table, right? It should have been 10, not 1. So this should have been 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. All right. Um, the steps that we use to solve the equation is still the same, right? The text is still the same, but the times have been, the dates have been 0, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. All right, so he made that correction today. All right, so that's the lesson video there. I'm gonna go make the review of the quiz review, the video of the quiz review. Cool. All right, that's it.